Hello, friends. Welcome back to the book reading series of Guru Leela. We are in the day two of volume 5, Dimensions Beyond Horizons. Before I start the book, we would like to wish you a very, very happy Diwali from the Mohanji Pune Center and from the entire Mohanji family. A very happy Diwali. In the last episode, we had stopped midway in the foreword that was written by Dolph. I would like to restart from the foreword. There might be a little repetition, but I guess it will help us with the continuity. And before I start the foreword, we have something about Dolph who has written the forward. I would read that first. Dolph Zanting from the Netherlands is an entrepreneur with AI, big data, and water science expertise. He has researched important insights about the energy of water and developing innovations that will be game changing for advancement in the water industry and health. He first met Mohanji in 2018 and has been closely associated with Mohanji mission since then, especially related to the applications of coherent water. So that's something about Dolph. That's the picture of Dolph with Mohanji and Idek. So just starting from the forward again. Dear reader, life itself is an unimaginable and beautiful mystery worth exploring. A creation built with intelligence and grandeur that we cannot comprehend. Unfortunately, many of us face so many challenges and distractions in our daily lives that we cannot always perceive or explore the depth and beauty of this wonderful mystery. We are trained early on to conform to all kind of rules and standards that will determine our lives for a greater path. We are busy with worldly things and try to give our daily life a certain direction. Usually, it is the life that society requires of us, where most of the events are already fixed, such as education, career, marriage, and positions. In order to survive in that society, we build an ego, and our mind directs our life with all the things that keep us busy. The mind keeps us occupied all day long with all kinds of things. Almost all of us live in a world mainly focused on the outer existence, which we perceive with our senses. But living like this, we also leave something of ourselves behind, something that is dear to us, our inner world. We are no longer linked to the larger whole, but perceive our lives separately from our true source. Life is like a creative game consisting of energy and frequencies that play together, like a huge concert, and determine our lives. But we often do not feel and see the beauty and cohesion of everything around us. Sometimes it appears temporarily during a special, striking moment that we experience sporadically and then it ebbs away again. But if we are miraculously lucky in this game of life, we suddenly meet special people who give life a different and deep, meaningful turn. They can redirect the outer energy inwards, and they are often living separate from the fixed patterns of the society with all its limitations and numerous dogmas that limit our sense of being really alive. An encounter with such a person touches your core because it stirs in you an intense feeling of deep longing. It is an inexplicable feeling in which words are far too limited to express yourself. An emotion that runs so deeply and suddenly makes you feel this is a different energy and order. We get a sense of distance past where beauty and harmony are of higher order and where real life existed. A life free from restrictive rules, a life in freedom with unimaginable energy, the energy that is part of the mystery of what life really is. Excuse me. Sorry about that. Having some allergies, I guess. Continuing this, I think Dolph has raised a very important point over here. What I understood is that we usually are outward oriented, and many times we miss connecting to ourselves, and in the bargain we lose a very big part of ourselves, which is very important for a complete life. Continuing the forward, some souls have the unbelievable luck of meeting someone who has embraced this mystery of life and who has become the mystery itself. The more you walk with that person, the more you feel that there is strength, love, and beauty walking next to you. It humbles you and makes you long even more for that source from which that person sprang. You too want to go back to that huge mystery where there are only harmonious rules and where no rules exist based on money, power, or oppression, where only regulations are based on respect for all that lives and runs in harmony within the rules of nature and its natural cycle. That mystery which literally controls everything, which unimaginable perfection, both around us and in the universe. If you come across such a person who has experienced the cosmic creation itself and fused with it, then you can only be deeply grateful. For me, that's Mohanji. That's what Dolph is saying. He has described a master. If you are fortunate enough to meet someone of that stature and qualities, then it gives you a different direction. And for Dolph, that master is Mohanji. I'm full of gratitude that I was allowed to meet him in this life, and he has very strongly ignited a feeling of deep connection in me. Mohanji is an example for me how beautiful a person can eventually become, and his life and lessons are an example for all of mankind. Everyone who has contributed to this and previous wonderful books, having their personal experiences, Mohanji, and every contact is unique. How wonderful it is to read how lines of lives intersect again at a certain moment. Lines from a past that now meet again to continue together their path in this special time on earth. Many see Mohanji as father or guru or a best friend. It depends on each person individually how they experience him. Still, everyone who is close to him knows that Mohanji is very special. He will always try to stimulate everyone to give up their deep fixed emotions, negative thoughts, and old conditionings in order to make the way inward possible to find the core that you have always been but had forgotten. The stories of everyone who experience this are all unique and often very special to hear or read. They all indicate how path from the outside toward the inside can go, often through special events and coincidences in your life that take place in an exact way and at an exact time. It often shows how we are suddenly thrown from the outside world into another reality beyond the ego and the mind. In order to reconnect with our deeper selves, sometimes completely unexpectedly, or sometimes after strenuous efforts. I myself had the honor of meeting Mohanji in this life at a meeting in Italy at the Montessori and the Church of Francis of Assisi. I'm sorry, at the monastery and the Church of Saint Francis of Assisi. There was a meeting of spiritual leaders from the world where presentations were given, and Mohanji too was present there along with his consort Devi. The leaders of the major religions in the world were invited by the international Sufi movement to talk about some important aspects of society. Mohanji gave a presentation, and I also gave a presentation about the dangerous situation of water in the world and what we could do to improve it. During that meeting, Mohanji and I walked towards each other. So here Dolph is describing his first meeting with the master Mohanji, how it took place. During that meeting, Mohanji and I walked towards each other. While exchanging pleasantries and our business cards, he suddenly, during our discussion, said to me privately that he had met Maha Babaji twice in this life. I was completely stunned to hear this, and I knew how unbelievably special this was, despite, despite being born in Western Europe. My spiritual journey, now he talks about his spiritual journey. My spiritual journey began more than 30 years ago when I was deeply moved by the book written by Paramhans Yogananda, Autobiography of a Yogi. Through a special set of circumstances, many years ago, I came in contact with Yogananda's immediate successor in India. This was Swami Hari Haranand, and I was finally initiated into Kriya Yoga. Years later, I became president of Kriya Yoga Association in Western Europe, which was in close contact with India. I had often heard from the masters how exceptional it is to meet Babaji. And now suddenly someone stood in front of me and he told me personally that he met Babaji, as if he knew how my reaction would be. Afterwards, he also informed that the Kriya Yoga is his path and is connected with the special traditions of Babaji. It was as if my world suddenly changed, and I went to my wife, Idek, happy and amazed, to share this with her and could only say, it is like Babaji came into our lives through Mohanji. And yes, Mohanji came into our lives as a huge blessing. We kept in touch after RCC. Our contact with him became more and more important for Idik and me, and we started to meet Mohanji more often in the private conversation we had with each other. It became clear to me how special Mohanji is as a spiritual leader. In addition to his current reality, Mohanji had already experienced many things in his life. He had been a high level businessman, had suffered huge painful setbacks privately, and is now married again and has a beautiful daughter. He is man of the world who understands the language of the West, the language of the East, and the language of the business world. And he moves effortlessly in all these worlds and makes connections. He has gathered special men and women from all kinds of cultures around him. He clearly shows how we all can and should work together in a beautiful way. How we should let go of all kinds of discrimination and dogmas, and how we all need each other. We live in an unusual time, and now many people around the world are facing a tough situation on healthcare and finances. We are in a time of enormous changes, and we must use these changes well to take a huge leap forward. But our minds are accustomed to certain patterns of apparent certainties, and we must dare to let go of them. Mohanji is very busy with each of us, teaching us to let go of our old patterns and connected fears, and he does this in an unprecedented and unique way for which we should be very grateful. I have never seen this before, how he works with all of us. In this world that will completely change in the coming years, his task is unprecedented and requires us to embrace the new energy in order to grow, which he introduces us to. After being in the presence for a short while, you notice that Mohanji is always working day and night on multiple levels. When you're talking to him, you notice a little later that he is helping other people at the same time without being present. That multidimensional activity of Mohanji shows how we as humans should grow and continue our path without thinking that our path will always be easy. I will present here a few examples of multidimensional energy associated with Mohanji that we have experienced. On his last journey to Mount Kailash, Mohanji performed a very special ritual at the extraordinary mountain in the Himalayas to improve the karma of the people closely associated with him. The names of some people who could not come were also written down, and the ritual was also performed for them. One day, Idik and I were sitting on the couch reading a book quietly, and suddenly the whole energy in our room changed. It was so striking that Idik and I looked at each other. I apologize if I'm not pronouncing the names correctly. Sorry, Dolph and Idik. As I was saying that one day Idik and I were sitting on the couch reading a book quietly, and suddenly the whole energy in our room changed. It was so striking that Idik and I looked at each other at the same time, and she asked, "Do you also feel this? What is going on?" The energy around us was getting stronger and stronger. We looked at each other at that moment. We both said, "Mohanji is busy." The energy felt great and it lasted for almost 3 hours and was noticeable everywhere. Later, we learned that at the same time, Mohanji was engaged in this ritual thousands of miles away and that it had lasted for about 3 hours, exactly the time where we had observed the energy change. So, here he gives an example where a ritual performed by Mohanji away in near Mount Kailash had its impact even at the place where Dolph and Idic were sitting at that point of time, which was far, far away. Wonderful. Another time we heard that Mohanji was coming to Netherlands and we had invited him to stay at our house. The whole trip was far from really confirmed because the visa he needed to come to the Netherlands had not yet arrived. We thought it was quite exciting because we hoped for his arrival but did not know whether it would happen. Again, something special happened. A very special, beautiful energy came into our house, and that lasted for a while and was noticeable. And we felt in all the rooms. We then suspected that the Mohanji would really come, and indeed, the message came later that day that the visa had arrived. When we told Mohanji about the special energy in our house, he told us with a smiling face that he knew because from another dimension they first come to check and clean a house completely. This is what we had observed and clearly felt. Amazing, isn't it? On another day, Mohanji sent me a message of video of a doctor from America looks at various viruses and diseases in a completely different, natural way and wants to teach the people to deal with their health in a more harmonic way. I did not know the American doctor and watched with interest several times the video I had received from Mohanji and also forwarded this video to friends. 3 months later, I suddenly got a call from America and amazingly from the very same doctor I saw on the video. He told me that he had been present in the hall at a lecture of mine a good 6 months earlier in California and that he was touched by something in my presentation and wanted to speak to me personally. And he was looking for me for a while and finally found me. I was totally amazed to receive the call from this man whose video was sent to me by Mohanji a few months earlier. Mohanji had sent me a video without further comment from him, and this doctor didn't know either Mohanji or his work at all. We started talking to each other, and it turned out that we could indeed support each other in our research areas and that our contact was important. Without that video that Mohanji sent me, which I received with no explanation from Mohanji, I probably never would have gone straight into this first conversation, which made me understand the background I needed. But to this day, we are working together in the field of water and health. Another beautiful example on the ways Mohanji works. Lines around the world are created by Mohanji as if a huge global puzzle comes together when and where needed as devised by him. We also see these same kind of connections happening to people in the Mohanji organization as if you are meeting old friends again, and many of them do great work all over the world. Mohanji very often says, I am always with you. And how often do we see these lines between us being braided over and over again in many areas? How beautiful is it to experience this? Suddenly, life becomes multidimensional, and step by step, we are reconnected to the big picture while Mohanji makes you aware again of this beautiful mystery. The readers of this book are all given a personal story to read. It gives a picture to everyone who reads it of the enormous wisdom and coherence of things that suddenly can change your life deeply. It proves that we can go beyond the mind into a world that is multidimensional, and Mohanji shows each one in his own unique way the road that is suitable for them. May this book, filled with beauty and wisdom from the tradition that Mohanji is part of, inspire us and show us the way to the cohesion and the freedom we all deserve, or rather, we all desire. With immense gratitude, my wife and I think of Mohanji and the masters of the traditions every day and thank them with great respect. I wish every reader an insightful time reading this wonderful book packed with inspiration. Dolph. What a wonderful forward. Thank you, Dolph, for sharing these wonderful experiences that you had and setting the tone for the rest of the book. Thank you so much, Dolph. So, the next is a beautiful picture of Mohanji in a deep contemplation or meditation. I think we will end today's session over here. We will next, in the next session, we will start with the first chapter, a dedication to loving sister, which is by Ruchika Gandhi about her sister Sonia. Thank you so much and have a wonderful Diwali once again and have a wonderful rest of the week. Thank you, Jai Mohan ji.